Tá fáilte romh Cardi Gillan seo anocht an cordial blian túil ar mamach an blian 2021. You're all very welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight online via Microsoft Teams to our annual County Convention 2021. As I complete my fifth and final year as your Cathaoirleach, I want to briefly reflect on what has been a second successive year of unusual circumstances that the GAA, like the whole of society, has had to deal with. The ongoing COVID-19 virus pandemic, which has been with us for some 21 months now, has again affected our season and indeed all our everyday lives. 2021 saw the first unenforced split season with a condensed county season starting on return to play in late spring after a complete lockdown during winter. This was followed in the summer by an equally condensed club season, which eventually saw the return of spectators and the use of dressing rooms, etc. It has been undoubtedly a tough year for players, club and county officials, and all who work to run our games. It is to their eternal credit that both county and club competitions were successfully completed. What ensured that this could happen was, of course, the rapid rollout of the COVID vaccination programme, substantially assisted by GAA volunteers from across the county and indeed from across the province and country as a whole. There was also increased compliance by our faithful supporters with the COVID protocols at our venues, such as social distancing and hand sanitation. My shiv to all concerned. It was also pleasing to see the reopening of our county training facilities at Lisson, with the two newly laid pitches hopefully available to all our county teams by the springtime. Medium to long-term plans for extension of dressing rooms, gym facilities, etc. were also substantially agreed and presented to county committee and to all stakeholders. When central funding becomes available again post-COVID, we will be ready to proceed with these ambitious plans. Our county rooney Tom Boyle has detailed the fortunes of our county teams in his usual meticulous report, so I will only comment on their progress as briefly as I can in a collective manner. So, county teams. Our senior footballers under Ryan McMenamin and his management team had another COVID-affected year. No McKenna Cup and a shortened National Football League beginning in May, in which we had a good victory over Ulster champions Cavan and an honourable draw with Longford, albeit enduring a heavy defeat to Derry in between, still brought us to a Division 3 semi-final against Offaly. A lively second-half performance just failed to make up for a slow start and thus scuppered our chances of promotion. With no qualifiers in the championship this season, the season ended with defeat by a seasoned Monaghan side in the quarter-final of the Ulster Championship. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Gracie and his backroom team for all their hard work over two COVID-ravaged seasons. When this management team decided to step down in the autumn, we moved quickly to replace them. Best of luck to Kieran Donnelly and his backroom team for the 2022 campaign. It was a strange year for our under-20 football management. As the previous year's minor management, Maurice McLaughlin and his backroom team found themselves looking after two teams simultaneously. Shortly after the 2020 minors suffered a very narrow defeat to Monaghan in a much-delayed 2020 Ulster semi-final, they oversaw this year's under-20s defeat Antrim before losing out to Derry after extra time on a stormy day in Celtic Park. Best of luck to Maurice et al. And the under-20s for the coming season. With no Ulster Minor League this year, our minor footballers went into the unknown against a fancied Cavan team in the Ulster Minor Championship and came away from Breffni Park with a deserved 1-point victory. They were no match, however, for a rampant Tyrone team who reached the All-Ireland final with ease, which they should have won. Thanks to young manager Aidan Gilroy and his backroom team. When Aidan stepped down, we again moved quickly to appoint two experienced Fermanagh men to succeed him. Best of luck to Tony Collins and Remy Johnson for 2022. Staying with under-17s, after no Celtic Challenge hurling in 2020, we were given very short notice that this competition was to happen this year in the summer. Well done to manager Cyril Dunn and his colleagues on fielding competitively. Pride of place among our county teams for 2021 must go to our senior hurlers. They finished as runners-up in Division 3B of the National Hurling League in a hard-fought final against a strong Louth team, to whom they had also lost in the 2020 Laurie Maher Cup final. Just 6 months later, they again reached the Laurie Maher final in Croke Park, but this time emerged victorious over Cavan in what was surely one of the best displays ever witnessed from a Fermanagh hurling team. Congratulations to manager Joe Baldwin, his backroom team and players on their All-Ireland title. Best of luck to all again next year. Coaching and games development. In the past year and beyond, much work has been done behind the scenes by our Coaching and Games Subcommittee and our Coaching Steering Committee to develop a bespoke Fermanagh GAA Long-Term Athletic Development Pathway, or LTADP as it's become known. This strategy seeks to streamline our academy structures and to liaise with our county under-17 and under-20 team managements with a view to working closely with our full-time football development manager Sean Doherty and athletic development coach Owen Bradley. The aim is to develop our young players to become senior inter-county and leading club players of the future. Credit for the development of the LTADP strategy must go to our coaching officer Fergal O'Connor and games development manager Teresa McNabb, ably assisted by Sean and Owen. We look forward to seeing the benefit of this work to our club and county teams in the years ahead, which will only come through buy-in from all concerned. Before leaving coaching and games, could I express my appreciation of the work in our schools and clubs of our county GPOs, Keith Riley, Fergal Shannon, Joanne Doonan and Johnny Garrity, who is standing in as GDM for Teresa McNabb at the minute. Also to Ulster Council coach Emer Keenan, who works in a Key Stage 2 programme. Club football. As referred to already, the late start to the club season due to COVID lockdown and the split season meant that a new adult league structure had to be devised. This involved a pre-season round-robin senior competition without county players, leading into a single-round senior league played in conjunction with a single-round Earn Cup Reserve League. These were completed in time for a full senior and reserve championship programme to be played in late summer and autumn. At underage level, condensed league competitions were completed at all age groups except under 19, and championships at under 15 and under 17 were also completed along with Fela. Great credit is due to CCC, led by Cahirlock Phil Flanagan and Rooney Brian Armitage, along with Offagut and Og Leanne Pryor, for these achievements in very difficult circumstances. In terms of continuity, it is great to see that, with Phil ending his tenure as our County Vice Chair, he will still be active in CCC in his new role as County Assistant Secretary and therefore Secretary of this very vital and hard-working committee. Congratulations to Senior Football Championship and Division 1 League winners Derrygonney Harps, Intermediate Football Championship winners Erin Gales, Junior Football Championship and Division 2 League winners St Patrick's, and indeed to all other Championship and League winners at both adult and youth level, all of which are recorded in the CCC and Youth Reports to Convention. A big mille bucus to all players, team management, club officials and referees who made Trojan efforts to complete our club competitions despite COVID restrictions. Club hurling. Hurling at club level within the county has advanced significantly this year due to the efforts of the hurling work group led by Cahirlock Tom Boyle and Rooney Stoke hurling officer Kieran Farmer. We now have 8 clubs participating at underage level, and local interest at adult level has led to the establishment of new teams, Earn Gales and South Fermanagh Gales. These teams, along with the Lisbon B team, played in the South Ulster League, and for the first time in quite a few years, we had 3 teams competing in an internal junior championship. Congratulations to winners Lisbon B and also to Lisbon A, who continue to represent the county in the Ulster Club. The development of hurling within the county for the next 3 years will be greatly assisted by the imminent launch in the new year of a comprehensive hurling strategy 2022 to 2025. Well done to hurling officer Kieran Farmer and all concerned. Finance and sponsorship. County Treasurer Sean Burns, along with our long-standing accountant Des Cullen, will report to Convention on a very reasonable financial position for the County Board. I compliment Sean and the rest of our Finance Committee on the prudent management of our finances in these stringent times. Sean, along with Ger Tracy and others in Clubbernia, have continued to support us financially despite almost zero fundraising opportunities during the COVID pandemic. Thanks as well to our county senior football team sponsor Tracy Concrete for his continuous support over 30 years now. I had the pleasure of presenting a framed composite number 30 Fermanagh jersey to Patsy Tracy at half-time in the Monaghan Ulster Championship match this year. Mahu Patsy. Gratitude also to new county senior hurling team sponsor Belter Tech and to our internal competition sponsors Mannock, Kevin Courtney Garages, Peter Carty Funeral Director, the Westfield Hotel and B. McCaffrey and Sons. Your continued support is much appreciated, as is that of Monaghan Brothers and O'Neill's. Physical development. Without naming them, in case I leave one out, could I congratulate the many clubs in the county who are continuing to develop their already fine facilities. Again, great credit to them in these times when fundraising is so difficult. I have already referred to the development of our county training facilities at Lisson, for which I congratulate the members of the Lisson Work Group led by Sean Donnelly. We look forward to its ambitious plans coming to fruition in the coming years. Other officerships and subcommittees. The County Rooney has covered the role of each of our subcommittees in his report to Convention. Thanks to all who serve on them. Again this year, we have not managed to fill the role of County PRO. This meant that our County Vice Chair, Phil Flanagan, had again to step in to promote our games through Monaghan Brothers, Fermanagh GAA TV, and our social media platforms. Great credit is due to Phil for this work and to commentators Ger Tracy, Kieran Maguire and Pádraig McGorn. Phil also produced high-quality e-programmes for both our club championship and home National Football League matches, which were much appreciated, especially when physical attendance at matches was COVID restricted. As I said in my report last year, our efforts will have to be redoubled to recruit someone capable of filling this important post to ease the burden of promoting our games. While on this subject, I want to take this opportunity to thank the sports journalists and photographers associated with our local papers, the Fermanagh Herald and Impartial Reporter, for the excellent coverage they give to our games. Gratitude is also due to our referees committee chaired by Fergal Cleary and serviced efficiently by referees administrator Gerard McLaughlin. Fergal also took on the onerous role of referees appointments officer. Mila Bucas to both men. I congratulate all our referees on the vital role they play in our association, in particular Niall Cullen, James Lewis and John Murphy, who represent us at provincial and national level. Anita Keogh continues to diligently fulfil the vital role of County Children's Officer, getting our clubs through this difficult area. Mahu Anita. As Jim Tumman comes to the end of his 5-year term as one of our delegates to Ulster Council, I thank Jim and Peter Carty for looking after our interests at provincial level. I'm sure Jim will not be lost to the association in the county. Sherrick Mahan continues to represent us very well at national level as our delegate to Central Council, providing us with a vital link to what's going on at the highest level within our association. In his other role as County Planning and Training Officer, Sherrick has also worked hard to monitor the progress of our County Strategic Plan 2020 to 2023 and will present a report on this to Convention. Assistant Treasurer Barry Doherty recently stepped down, so this is another post in management that needs to be filled. I thank Barry for his contribution. Concluding on our subcommittees, I thank the members of our Hearings Committee led by Chair Pat McGorn and Secretary Martin McBride, our Cultural and Heritage Committee led by Kieran Maguire and Finola Owens, our Health and Wellbeing Committee led by Damien McHugh and Anne Curran, and our IT Committee led by Phil Flanagan and Niall Cullen. The officers of the County Board that I have worked with on an almost daily basis are, of course, our extremely competent Rooney, Tom Boyle, and our dedicated Customer, Sean Burns. I thank both for their support and friendship not only throughout this year, but throughout my tenure. Thanks also to Tom for his hard work in preparing for this convention. I'd also like to take this opportunity to congratulate our vastly experienced last trainee, Brian Armitage, on assuming the role of my successor in the chair. Brian has served the association well in various roles over the years and will undoubtedly bring all his experience and affable personality to the position. I'm more Orta Brian. It is good to see that John McGovern is stepping into Vice Chair, a welcome addition as new blood to management. Conclusion. I just want to finish by commenting on the most controversial national issue in the GAA at the moment, namely the structure of our National Football League and Championship. Attempts at reform at the recent Special Congress failed to get the required support. The main sticking point that we, in common with most other counties in Ulster, had was the attempt to demote the provincial championships. Whilst we took the view that there was little wrong with the present format of the Ulster Championship, which of course we hope to win for the first time at some stage, we must recognise that there is an imbalance in the other three provinces and that Ulster cannot always say no. However, the bottom red line for us should be that the provincial championships continue to be linked to the All-Ireland series. Congress in February next year will tell the tale when motions from the new task force set up recently by Uachtar and Larry McCarthy and motions likely from Ulster as well will be debated. Let us hope that common sense prevails. Finally, condolences to all GAA members within the county who have lost loved ones during the year. Our county Rooney has listed the loss of 3 members of the 1959 All-Ireland Junior winning team, and bereavement suffered by present members of county management and county committee, along with several club stalwarts. Ganyana Giatroka Era Anyam Naka Usul. I said in my acceptance speech 5 years ago that the theme of my tenure in the chair would be unity of purpose. I feel that has largely been achieved through not just my efforts, but those of you all. It has been an honour and a privilege, and mostly a blast. Nolik Honna Dave, agus Aflin, Fui Washa Dave Halig, Goramilla, my Agov Galera.